I wasn't planning on doing this video, but it just occurred to me that I could do a cooking with Eric vlog. I remember I watched one from Loud Pipes. I thought it was pretty good, and there were a few others that I seen. Anyways, I'll get back to that. But my wife's friend had a compact laptop, and the video went on it. As soon as she hit the power button, the blue lights would come on, and it would sound like it's starting to boot up, but there'd be absolutely no display. And then it would shut off and restart again, and it's like it's trying to reboot all the time. And so anyways, that being that, she had a lot of stuff on that computer, so she brought it to us and asked me if I could retrieve all of her pictures and documents and stuff off of it. And I said, well, I can give it a try. If I have to, I'll take the hard drive out and mount it and pull the data off it. So I actually ended up getting the computer running. The wireless wasn't working on it either, so I took one of the covers off the back and reseated the wireless card, and I saw an NVIDIA chip there, and I thought, okay, well, I'll just give it a shove on that and see what happens, and kind of cleaned it up a little bit, rebooted it, and sure enough, it fired up. And but still no wireless, so no big deal. I transferred all the data off of that onto my computer with just a little 8 gig data stick, and burned her a couple of DVDs with all of her stuff on it, and that was that. And she said if I could get that thing running, I could keep the laptop. So there's a bit of incentive for me. So anyways, that was fine. The laptop was working. She didn't want it because she already bought a new one, so I got myself a cheap laptop. So I went out and I bought myself a little wireless a USB wireless adapter for it, and now I'm on the internet with it. Well, that worked for about a week, and then I went to use it, and it just kind of made a noise, and that was it. No more display. She died again. No matter what I did, I could not get that thing to start up. So, me being the YouTuber that I am, I always go to YouTube with my problems, so I typed in blue lights, black screen, HP, compact, and lo and behold, I got a whole lot of stuff. Turns out the problem with these computers is that the NVIDIA chip on them becomes unseated. The way that they solder them in is there's just little balls of solder on the bottom of the chip, and they place it on the board, and then they heat the board up, and that solders the chip to the board. And the heat sink on these things to keep the chips cool is not very good. And the heatsink is hooked directly on top of the CPU, as it should, and then it goes over top of the GPU, the graphics processor, but there's a gap there, and they put a piece of foam in there, and I don't know why they do that, because not very much heat's going to travel through that foam, so that chip never gets cool. And from what I've been reading, these chips end up overheating, and they become unseated. And to fix it, what you got to do is you got to reflow the chip. In other words, you got to heat it up and get the solder to melt, and that'll reseat the chip. So I thought, okay, well, I got nothing else to lose. This laptop's dead, and you can't break what's broken, right? So I found a couple of videos on how to disassemble the thing without destroying it, and I did that. Took it all apart, and got myself a cookie sheet, put some tin foil on the bottom of it, and made 4 little balls of tin foil to support the motherboard. And then I took all the plastic off the motherboard, and all the little tape and stickers and all that. Took all of that off. Whatever I could take off, I took off. And I stuck her in the oven at 392 degrees Fahrenheit or 200 degrees Celsius, and I baked it in the oven for 8 minutes. And my wife said, "You are crazy." But I did it, I took well, after the 8 minutes, I shut the oven off and just opened up the door to let it cool off sort of naturally. You know, not too fast, because they say them chips, they can crack real easy if you cool them down too fast. And you really don't want to move it around too much while that solder's molten, because the chips can slide around and, you know, they might not be where they belong. So that's what I did. I turned the oven off, opened the door, and I just let it sit there for 5-10 minutes, and then I took it out and I let the thing cool for 15-20 minutes, and the board was cool. And I should have put a little bit more support under it, because I did warp the board a little bit, and I thought, you know, I just screwed the thing up. But I put it all together anyways, and it took me a little bit to put it together, but I did. No leftover screws, everything went together. I had a few little issues. For some reason I didn't get the keyboard seated properly, so I had to take it apart to do that, and the CD-ROM or DVD-ROM drive is a little tight, so I've got to address that issue. But other than that, it all went together really good. I put the battery in, and I hit the power button, and lo and behold, she booted up. I couldn't believe it. And not only that, but the wireless that wasn't working was also now working. So I was quite shocked. I had to go in the CMOS and set that all up, because I took the CMOS battery out. So, you know, but it's not a big deal. All I had to do was set the date and time. Anyways, so she all went back together, and now I can return that Wi-Fi card that I got, because I don't need it. That's 50 bucks in my pocket. But what I did when I put it together, so this doesn't happen again, is and I should have took a picture of it, but I didn't, is where the heatsink goes over top of the GPU, they recommend you take a penny, an older penny preferably, because they're solid copper, and put some thermal paste on it, and stick that in between the GPU and the heatsink, and that will drop the temperature of that GPU anywhere from 10 to 20 degrees Celsius, which in Fahrenheit's like 40 or 50 degrees. Well, 40 maybe. Hey, look at that homemade wind turbine. Check it out. That's cool. I got to take a better look at that. Anyways, that was a sidetrack issue there. So I did that, put it all together, and this was last night, and the thing is still running great. Can't believe it. I really can't believe it. The only thing I got to sort out yet is the DVD drive. When I put it together, for some reason the slot where the optical drive goes in is a little snug. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to unloosen as many screws as I can possibly get at, and then put it in, and then tighten the screws up. You know, it's so close it ain't funny, but I don't want to wreck anything. And that's it. I got myself a nice laptop, and that's cooking with Eric. You know, look at that. It got the wave from one of them, not the other. The other one's too cool. That's okay. I bet they don't know how to bake a laptop.